The Lexus GX460 starts all the way back in 1984, first called the Land Cruiser Prado and still known internationally as such, was a light-duty version of the J70 chassis, positioned beneath the full-size Toyota Land Cruiser and marketed as more on-road oriented. This change was to compete with the very successful Mitsubishi Pajero, and looking side by side, it's obvious they may have had a little bit too much inspiration from them. After a second generation release in 1996, everywhere again except North America, we finally got the third generation in 2003. However, compared to everyone else, we got a nicer interior, standard technology and comfort, a 4.7-liter V8, and most importantly, sporting a Lexus badge that said GX470, with both consumers by strong sales figures and very well received by everyone that reviewed it, even winning Best Four-Wheeler of the Year 2 years in a row by Four-Wheeler magazine. That left some pretty big shoes to fill. In its release in 2010, Toyota did what they did best, focused on what worked, iterated, and continued to improve and make it better. Automotive journalists at the same time did what they did best, take all the things they loved about the first GX and then complained about it in the second one when they weren't updated. And instead, Car and Driver calling it in 2010, its release year, quote, "On paper, the GX460 is a bit of a dinosaur. You would have thought it was a review of the 2023 model." Interesting choice of words when every baseline specification was upgraded. 38 more horsepower, 6 pound-feet more of torque over the previous engine for a total of 301 horsepower, 329 pound-feet, all paired with a 6-speed automatic, 1 speed over the previous. Toyota's KDSS was standard and slightly improved fuel economy. Quicker 0 to 60 at 6.9 seconds compared to 7.2 as tested by Car and Driver, and a towing rating to 6,500 pounds, along with much improved safety features with airbags literally everywhere and an optional pre-collision system with driver's aids such as lane keep assist, radar cruise control, and driver monitoring. Improved navigation and infotainment, although this was already dated when released, so a valid critique, and most importantly, improved comfort and refinement. But okay, maybe in 2010 when it was released, it was adequate for the time, and certainly not now, right? Who would buy a gas-guzzling, bland, boring, truck-like SUV with ancient infotainment that lacks any of today's features? Well, I would be one such guy because this is actually mine. I bought this for my wife to replace her Ford that had pulled the classic Ford move of blowing up. Very unfortunate, yes, I know. And this is what I came up with as the best replacement vehicle for us. And I was really looking for something comfortable, had luxury features, easy to drive, great visibility, a full-time four-wheel drive system for any inclement weather, and I would like to have a little bit of towing. 6,500 pounds for this one is more than adequate to tow one of the Datsuns or anything like that I've got. So that is also what I was looking for. And one other feature I'll touch on later, but this is the best thing that I came up with. So let's take a look inside and see what you actually get in the GX. Looking at all the other cars on my channel, you'll notice that I'm not exactly allergic to slow cars. But this, however, has been very nice to have a V8 under the hood. I can actually pass people, and over the 4Runner, I have a 6,500 pound towing capacity instead of 5,000, mainly due to that V8. It is a little thirsty, but it feels really nice. And it makes a cool noise when you pass people. Now, it is by modern standards slower by a lot of other sport utility vehicles, right? Range Rovers, Q7s, anything kind of like that. I just want to be comfortable and pass comfortably, smoothly. And that's what I think the Lexus really specializes in and really does a good job at it. And as well, just braking underneath the 7-second mark, just, you know, that's plenty fast enough for me. And my wife doesn't need to be driving any faster than that. Now, these SUVs may be a little bit older, but they are still very safe to drive. There are airbags, again, literally everywhere in this car. And you have all the modern traction control, stability control in this. Very easy to drive. Now, you also had a optional driver assistance package that came with the radar cruise control, pre-collision warning system, driver alert warning, lane alert, and the later models came with the blind spot monitoring. However, the other thing is that the visibility, which is also part of safety, is just really, really good in the car. You can sit the seat up really high because it's such a tall roofline. Very easy to drive because there's so much visibility. I do find that the auto dimming mirrors are really nice on the highway at night. I can actually tell where cars are in their lanes. Who knew? When you drive like hard bodies and 80 series and all that stuff, like, you know, more modern features seem to, you know, really amaze you. But another thing to touch on with the visibility is that I find that the B pillar is like not right next to my face, so I can actually do shoulder checks. Same thing with the glass. There's a decent amount of glass in the car, so you can actually have pretty good visibility looking around. And of course, you know, you have a rear facing camera for reversing, so, and it's pretty clear. One little touch that I do like when you do put the car in reverse is that the mirrors actually angle down, and so you can actually see where the lines are when you're parking. It's pretty fun. Well, next thing to talk about is cargo space. And as you can see, this door, I think it's pretty cool. You know, not a lot of other cars have this. Well, here in the trunk, it's adequate. I think that's all I'll say. One of the big gripes on car reviews is that this trunk space isn't that big, mainly due to the third row, which I can't believe, and the fact that this has the spare tire underneath the car. So you have the seats and the spare tire trying to take up the same space. So you are kind of limited. I know the GX460 had the seats on the sides, you know, gave you just a little bit more height. One thing that does actually help it is the fact that the opening is the whole width of the back. So anything that can slide in or fit in will fit with the tailgate closed. There's not that large of a curve on the tailgate. So anything that fits in here will close with it. So certainly had other SUV crossover type things that have a very aggressive curve on a tailgate, and then you just struggle fitting boxes in. This whole back end is a box, so you won't have a problem with that. With these seats up, you know, back here you do have little cup holders for them. You have electric buttons for the seat controls, and of course I think it depended on the package that you got. This does have the Comfort Plus package, so it has the 3-zone climate control, so we have little vents in the back for the third row, as well as the control panel for the middle row. The middle row seats I find are actually pretty comfy. I spend most of my time actually driving, so I don't spend too much time back here, but the leg room is pretty good, and they do recline pretty far, I think. With the third row up, you pretty much don't have any trunk space. You can maybe fit like a small bag of groceries in here, you know, like not really a ton, but you know, you do have a actual usable third row if you are a child. And of course you got little tie down hooks for everything you know, if you need it. This middle row actually goes down as well, so you can pass things through, and whatever combination of these that you would like to have down. Now, another hate it or love it feature is actually the front end. Some people think that these look really boring. Some people think that they look awesome. You get a little bit more approach angle off-road. Another thing is that these are cheaper on the market because they're older and they're a little bit less flashy. But I actually wanted this one. And why did I want it? Was because it's less flashy, and two was that this specific model came with the upgraded headlights. So again, this was another dealer option. You could get the HIDs, and this one actually has the active headlights. So as you turn the steering wheel, it turns the headlights with it. Pretty cool feature. The other thing is that this was actually the lowest mileage and just kind of best maintained example of a GX I could find in the Mid-Atlantic area. It only had like 85,000 miles when I bought it. And this thing is like really clean. As you saw, like the interior, like there is some like light evidence that there were kids in this thing before, but the owners took really good care of it. Everything still works. And it's just a very, very like nice car to be in and around, and there's no issues. It drives just so smoothly everywhere. And again, like it's just been very well maintained. With me planning to keep this for a long time, it was probably definitely also worth paying the little bit more than what some of the other people were asking for examples that had like 130, 150,000 miles or anything like that. And that's why I wanted this one. I'm not too much of a fan of the upgraded look. It just screams Lexus to me, and I don't mind the understated kind of blob look. I almost rather people not know what I have, right? This car has never seen mud. There's like not like a speck of mud underneath this car. It's never been off-roaded. Probably seen vast parking lots. the tallest speed bump peaks you've ever seen, and it's perfect vehicle for that. Very well kept and very well maintained, and that's why I went after this specific example. Now I'm going to touch on the number one reason why you would get a Lexus GX460, and that's the reliability. You pay a premium and you pay up front for the reliability and peace of mind that you get owning a Toyota or Lexus product. There's really only two main issues that these GXs have. There's a coolant valve leak, which this one does not have an issue yet, and secondary air pump filter issue that like falls apart. Everything has been like well documented. The people that own this are neurotic about them. They take very good care of them. And you just have to think about the type of person that buys this new and that owns it. Someone that had money, someone that cares about this, and you know, these cars by themselves are just very overbuilt. So like a 4Runner just attracts a different type of person versus a GX. So if you're considering 4Runner or GX, right, think about the type of owner that had it before you instead of some dude bro that definitely took it off-road. Think about the soccer mom that owned this and that they're actually able to afford the maintenance schedule. Another aspect of that reliability is just the simplicity of the infotainment system and all the buttons and everything that you see here. You just have, you know, physical buttons for all of the main features that you want. Climate, audio setup, you know, all that stuff. Map. This one does have the navigation. You have very easy climate control. You have this little slidey thing that kind of hides you from the shame of still having a CD player in current year, and you know, you have some little little cubby holes and stuff, but everything on this car is a physical button and it just works. It's very, very impressive. Even the Bluetooth connectivity to my phone, right? It's over 10 years now. Over 10 years old Bluetooth in this car still connects to my phone and works every single time. I have an Alpine head unit in my Land Cruiser and it's hit or miss if it's gonna connect. It is actually I don't even know how they do it. It's very impressive. Everything in here is just nice to touch as well. It's just nice to touch. The materials are nice. Even the plastic is nice. You know, like this, whatever, it's okay. We've got a sunroof here. It's pretty cool. Lets in a pretty good amount of light. And of course, you know, works, right? You got fun little family feature of this like mirror here so you can see everyone. But yeah, it's just so simple that, you know, there's just not a ton to go wrong. If you're someone that also needs the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay because you just can't live without your phone, there are plug and play modules for these. So it's like $750, I think. It uses the same screen and everything, because I think the first year that actually had that was 2022. So, you know, you can save your money and buy an older one like this and then plug and play. And allegedly they work, but that's what people in the forums are saying. So I know a lot of people actually cross shop these with the 4Runners, and to me it's not even a question. Just get the GX. It's the same price. I didn't even bother looking at 4Runners because the prices were the same. Just get a GX. You have nicer interior. You have V8. People complaining that why didn't Toyota put a V8 in the 4Runner? It's right here. Just get this instead. It's a lot better, or you know, it's kind of better in some ways. That's actually about all that I have to share with you now. This is, again, the wife's car, so probably not a whole lot of content on this is going to be done. So far, I've put on almost 1,000 miles already in just owning this car, so it's been pretty decent so far. No issues, no complaints. Everything's been going great and smooth, and I really like the car. And I can tell why people in the forums just love them. Probably not a whole lot of content on this because I'm not going to be doing anything crazy or stupid, because this is not going to be going off-road and probably going to be a baby in here the entire time. But if you have any other questions or you want to see anything else that doesn't involve taking this off-road, then let me know. And I'll try and do my best to answer them, or maybe someone else will. Anyways, thanks for watching,